Hello there. How are we doing, everyone? Adam here from The Freight, coming at you with another record review of something that came in very recently. Erykah Badu, Mama's Gun, the Vinylphyle 25th anniversary reissue. I have some really great things to tell you about this and to talk about with you. Really interesting things. I'm also going to talk about some people asked about comparing it to the VMP reissue. I don't have that. I'll get that out of the way first. But I have some interesting thoughts about VMP in general and the way it might compare. We'll get there. I also have an interesting production note from this that I want to highlight. So please stick around for that because I think it is very telling. Um, Sorry for my voice, got a little bit of a cold going, but we're all good. So, yeah, first and foremost, you know me, I like to kind of cut to the chase and get this out of the way. This is fantastic. This is a home run in my estimation. The sound quality on this is absolutely amazing. I've listened to it probably at least 5 times in the last few days, probably 3 days. I would say 4 or 5 times I've gone all the way through. It's really great. The sound on it is awesome. This record, if you are familiar with it, you already know. If you're not, it is a fantastic album of probably like one of the best examples of that early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s neo soul thing that was happening. Um, there was some different artists doing it, like D'Angelo and of course Erykah Badu, and this record in particular is just such a great capture of it. It's a modern soul record. You know what I mean? It's like the evolution of soul, just like the evolution of any other music. This sometimes it's harder. It was harder to find the evolution of the neo soul for myself. I'll say that. Like, and when I say harder to find, I meant like this wasn't a ton of. There was a couple of these songs that were on the radio, but it wasn't like what you were commercially hearing in that era. You were hearing a lot of like the contemporary rock, like Nickelback and the popular things like that, and Creed, and I don't know. You were hearing a lot of that stuff. Three Doors Down, and that was the stuff you were hearing a lot of on the radio. Not necessarily this, unless you were really seeking out this genre. But people that know what a classic this record is, and it really is a classic. So I'm going to remove this Obi for a second. Um, let's go through the packaging. Unbelievably high quality jacket. All right, we got the gatefold lyrics down here. All over you'll see in the back. Again, this is a really super high quality jacket. If you look on here, and I did bring the glasses just in case of emergency situation, so I can read these things to you accurately. Cut by Joe Nino Hernes. It's Sterling Sound from the all new remaster, which I'm going to talk a lot about in this because I think there's some really beautiful, honest insights in this record that set this version apart from any other version. That I'm confident in saying that, even though not just sonically, but in the way this is kind of honestly presented. Let's get into that a little bit. I guess let me briefly talk about the sound. Amazing. If you have some of the other Vinylphyle reissues, the Bob Marley Exodus, the band record, they're wonderful. They're wonderful. And I can't talk highly enough about those to the point where there's absolutely no need for that I have or want that I have to get the UHQR, not even on my radar, especially after hearing this Vinylphyle reissue of Exodus. It's so good. And so as soon as they announced this record, I purchased it. I pre-ordered it. I was psyched when it arrived. Let me go through this. This is where we start to get really interesting. This is the insert, and you can see there's a whole bunch of tape boxes, whole bunch of tapes to go through here. All right. And what's even more interesting is the read that's in here. Okay. It talks about her love for analog and recording analog live instruments, all those things. And it really comes through on the recording. The sound quality is incredible on this record. Absolutely warm and lush and beautiful presentation, deep bass, impactful bass where it's supposed to be. Amazing presentation. The sound quality on this record is top notch. You will not be disappointed. But let me talk about some of the things that she speaks about here in this. And this is Erykah Badu's words. So she talks about how much originally analog meant to her, and still does mean to her. But she talks beautifully and eloquently about how the evolution of digital recording and digital remastering, remixing, all these things also can be an asset when used the right way. And that is, we know this now, where we understand that is absolutely possible when done the right way. When done the wrong way, digital sounds awful, especially on vinyl. But when you merge the two, analog and digital, wonderful things can happen when you have someone that knows what they're doing to do that, engineers and producers and things like that. So that's the case here. We get wonderful presentations on this combination of digital and analog, and she talks about this in that writing. She says things that like how much she loves analog, but the people introduced her to the wonderful things that digital can do for recordings and remixing and remastering. So she embraced this, and they went through this and did this 25th anniversary reissue in an amazing way. I'm going to read you, I'm going to put up on the screen here, hopefully, or here, one of these sides. You guys know me in my editing. I'm, no big deal. Sometimes I can do it. It's all right. Not all heroes wear capes. If I do it, it'll be in this area, one of these areas, and you'll see the box. I'm going to read you what the box says. And just so you know, it's this box right here where my finger is, right here. That's what I'm reading. It's a production note from this record. And I'm going to read that right now for you. No big deal. Popping on the glasses, it's serious. All right. Producer notes. There are no sequenced analog masters for Mama's Gun. What that means is there's not a sequence of like, it would be like 2 or 4 tapes, because this is a double record, with all the songs sequenced in the correct order. That's typically what a master tape looks like. They're not kind of hodgepodge. This was recorded at 2 different studios, Electric Lady and I forget the other studio. Let's see if it's listed on here. I forget the other studio. The Hit Factory. The Hit Factory was the other one. So you can see you have some Hit Factory tapes. You have some Electric Lady tapes with different tracks spread out all across them. Okay. So there's no sequenced master that ever existed for this. So keep that in mind, please. It's really important, useful information. Back to the writing here. The original 44.1 16-bit files with the original CD mastering and limiting have been the only source for all digital and vinyl reissues until now. That includes the Vinyl Me Please reissue. That includes the Music on Vinyl reissue, and all others that may have come before it. They've only used the 44.1 16-bit files with the original CD mastering. So I don't know if VMP claimed remastering. I think they just claimed that they cut it, which is honest. But there was no remastering. They used the mastering from the original CD 44-bit files. That's important. That's, taking CD mastering and transferring it to vinyl. The thing that separates this reissue, here we go. We reassembled and rebuilt this record digitally from 14 individual track tapes. Okay, so 14 separate tapes, pieced them together, and made the digital remaster. They were newly transferred in 96K 24-bit in order to create the first true remaster since it came out 25 years ago. Okay, so this is the actual first remaster in 25 years since it came out. The VMP is not a remaster. The Music on Vinyl, not a remaster. They were taken from the CD masters. This confirms it, okay? This is the only remaster that exists. That's important. And I think that could be what separates it. Again, I don't have those versions to listen to. I'm sure they sound great. I can tell you this sounds great. And I have no desire to even necessarily do a comparison and purchase those other ones because this one's so good. I'm completely satisfied with this version. And just like I don't fault anyone for being completely satisfied with the music on vinyl or the VMP release, I'm sure it's great. But what I will tell you is this is awesome. And this is an actual remaster compiled from the tapes in a digital way, right? But that is sampled in a much more high fidelity format. 96 is significantly higher quality than the CD 41 bit. That's CD quality still, that's kind of the standard. But when you get into like the 96, you're starting to talk about really upping the fidelity even more. And that's what they did for this. So yeah, let me show you. I think that's a really interesting thing. This is the new remaster. I think it's an interesting point about Vinyl Me Please. I don't know that Vinyl Me Please. This is. I'm not even a statement. I'm just stating things that I've heard other people say, like Kevin Gray. Kevin Gray was just on the Cara Pop podcast, and he spoke about. I can't remember if it was one of the Fleetwood Mac reissues or some kind of reissues that he cut this past year. And he did it from, I don't know if it was maybe Tusk. I don't know if it was him that did it or not. But anyway, it was the first time that the analog tapes had been used since their record came out. Again, I can't remember the title exactly, but you can listen to that Cara Pop podcast. It's really great. Just came out last week. And he said, the host said, well, the VMP reissue of this particular record, VMP said that they used the original tapes to do it. And Kevin Gray said, that's not possible. I mean, I trust Kevin Gray. So he was the first one to get some of this. So I think some of the remastering things over the course of whenever has not always been the most honest, which we know. But I love the honesty of the mastering sources for this record. I think it just was so illuminating. I love the honesty. I love the transparency. And it sounds incredible. This is a great sounding record, guys. So they have new inners here. These Vinylphyle, and they're really nice, actually. I think these are all made in a similar way. So, but they look really nice with the gold lettering and the black. Everyone says what they want about the name, but that is sharp presentation right there. The vinyl is unbelievably flat and quiet, beautiful sounding. 2 LPs. There is nothing but positive things I can say about this, really. It's really something. If you're into this record, if you're into that neo soul thing, I cannot recommend picking up this reissue enough. And those who do, maybe if you do have a music on vinyl reissue or a VMP reissue and you want to compare them, I would love to hear the comparisons. Because I'm not going to pretend like I can say definitively. All I can tell you is that this sounds great. If you want a great sounding reissue of it with very honest mastering chain of where all this stuff comes from, I don't think you'll be disappointed. And so, and again, Joe Nino Hernandez at Sterling Sound, again, is killing it. These Vinylphyle reissues sound amazing to my ears on my system. Really liking what he's doing. Another mastering engineer to keep an eye on. So there you have it, guys. That's about it. Highly recommend this record. Beautiful reissue, beautiful honesty in the reissue, and the sound and the music on this is fantastic. So there you go. All right. I will see you all in the next one. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. There's a lot of people that watch that haven't liked or subscribed or whatever. So give a subscribe. I'm almost at 1,000, which is insane. It'd be really fun to have that happen. So anyway, I will see you in the next one. Peace.